Yes. Okay, so we're coming down the home stretch. Thanks for coming to our session on Gen AI, music and the arts. Our next speaker, we go back at least a decade or more.
Yeah.
From, I think from the MIT Club and other different things. I'm not a member of the MIT Club, but going to meetings and stuff like that. And so Larry Ward is going to be speaking about Bing Image Creator, what it is and how to use it, with examples of all of that. So I will turn it over to you. Take it away.
Okay, so the Image Creator is a tool. It's actually now called Image Creator for the designer. When I started using it, it was called the Image Creator, so that's what I Googled for. And it's a text to image creator that's built on top of DALL-E 3. So when I started using it, it was DALL-E, then it went to DALL-E 2, and now DALL-E 3. And DALL-E 3 and all the other DALL-Es are developed and maintained by OpenAI, which is an American artificial intelligence lab. So one thing to note, I want to note this up front. Bing Image Creator is free to use, unlike tools like Midjourney. So all you need to do is set up an account with Microsoft and then log in. So here I am at Bing Image Creator, and I'm going to click on join and create and then sign in with a personal. Okay, so thanks. And TCF talk, the account. I don't have to do this at TCF talk hotmail.com, of course. And I don't have to do this at home because I'm always signed into my bogus account. Exactly.
Wow. Password.
Password.
I would have guessed.
Good idea. How many years?
Yes.
Even before we get started, based on that reaction, if you want a password that long, try using a passphrase.
Exactly. That's what I did.
So I work in IT, I use this all the time. Think of a couple words that you might associate together. Like say you have something in your laundry room that's pink. Pink laundry detergent, awesome. That's a really long password, and you could probably remember it. No one else would think of that.
Okay.
And then you add a number somewhere in there, maybe replace the letter L with a 1 or something.
Yeah, an A with an @ sign,
And
put in
then
a capital letter, use special punctuation. Like, you know, I love purple cows, period. You could put that in there. So it doesn't have to be disconnected words. It could be a sentence that's easily remembered. So anyway, I've logged in and this is what the interface looks like. And in this account, I can go to creations because I've already pre-populated some of the things that you'll see in here, prompts that I've put in. So a prompt is the text that you type into this window here for whatever it is that you want to generate. So someone shout out a prompt.
Purple cows.
Purple cows, okay. Now that's a simple concept, right? It's just the concept. There's no stylistic information. So we go and it's creating. And you'll notice this number over here. That is a boost number. So it will subtract from this total here. This total was generated by me creating prompts. So if I want to generate an image faster, I could spend my, Microsoft Words generating them faster. I don't do that. I just let my points accumulate. And here are some images of purple cows. So the interface right up front will generate up to 4, not exactly 4, not all the time. It just depends on what the AI feels like giving you, but up to 4 images. And these images are all 1024 by 1024 pixels in resolution and size. And you can go through each one. And it's interesting that the AI decided to, put in these, I'm assuming these are flying saucers without being prompted. So something about purple cows in DALL-E 3 is associating them with these flying saucers. Yeah.
It might be the science fiction trope where a cow is abducted by aliens.
Yes, because all of these images, at least certainly for DALL-E 2, were trained on public data sets. So it's hoovering up information all over the internet and the web to provide you with these images. Okay, and every single one of these you can immediately download if you want to. You can click on the download button over here and then save out the image if you want to. Another thing that you can do, which I don't do, is click on customize, and that'll bring you into Microsoft Designer. And this interface allows you to do stuff that you probably have in other applications where you can turn these into pictures or cards or what have you. I don't do that because I work with templates, and all the imagery that I'm interested in, I'm putting on shirts. So like this. So this was the first AI image that I did. I put it on a shirt, and the prompt was man jumping to Earth from space, because I was specifically thinking of Felix Baumgartner in the Red Bull Challenge. Okay. So let's go back into the interface. Okay. Let me do this for a second, get rid of designer, and I'll get rid of this. And I'm back at Purple Cows. So one thing that you'll notice over here on the right, you can see that I pre-populated, like I said, these images. So Bing Image Creator will allow you to store a certain amount of images, and these images expire both by space, because you're limited in how many that it'll retain, as well as by time. So in this, I can still generate images. So the first image that I put into this account, if you could read that, it says lecture in front of classroom, speaking to a packed audience. So I haven't expired yet in terms of the number of prompts before this one gets pushed out. And something I noticed about these images, does anyone else notice this? Take a look at the images very carefully. What do you notice?
All different angles of the same scene?
Yes, that's one thing, but what else? Look at the audience.
All very attentive.
All pretty what?
Attentive.
What else do you notice about them?
I mean, they're all white.
Yeah, it's not diverse. It's like weird. So I never realized that at first. So then I put in, what did I add? I said, lecture in front of classroom speaking to a packed audience of diverse attendees. And now what you can notice is that there may be like one person in the audience that they add, you know. It's hilarious. I'm seeing this person I don't know, just from the hairstyle. Where's another one? Oh, right over here.
Weird.
And over here. So it was just something I happened to notice. I never put in a prompt like that and noticed that before, but I guess that's like a current issue. There was like one talk that I went to in the main room over there, where the speaker was talking about the woke rules of AIs. So anyway, this is just very interesting.
And all the lecturers are guys.
Yes, exactly. Yes, yeah. So she was specifically showing places where AI images break, like there's a well-known one right now where the prompt is like Nazi soldier, and it shows someone who's Black or African American, I have no idea, you know, with his Nazi helmet on, and it's just historically inaccurate, obviously. So that's why she brought up these woke rules. Anyway, let's move beyond that topic. What else do we got in here? Blackboard filled with algebraic geometry equations.
Yeah.
So I'm a amateur mathematician, so this is right up my alley. And it looks pretty cool. You know, there don't appear to be any distortions in here. So
Is that correct?
oh, I don't know. In fact, I don't think so. I think this is like bogus. I'm sure some of these symbols don't even exist. You know, there's some distortion. So what else do we have in here? Exoplanet star system.
Yeah.
Right? This is pretty neat. When I've done this in my account, it usually doesn't include or never includes a telescope. So it's interesting that these images are, you know, of a telescope being included. this is not particularly realistic, it's very fanciful, but that's fine, depending on what you want. And as you notice, I'm just putting in simple concepts. You can also add style information to modify these images to match a particular artistic or visual look that you want. I don't do that because I'm not interested in that. I'm just interested in concepts for stuff that I can put on my shirts. Did you have a question?
Yeah, so I've been experimenting. This would be a good example. I've been trying to use it and I want to say like, okay, out of the four, I like this best,
Mhm.
but I don't want a telescope. Like can you go from this image to another path?
So the only way that you can modify this image currently is through Designer. Whenever you put in a prompt, it's going to generate a new set of pictures. So you have to take this image and then post-process it either in Designer or something else. You can get that telescope out in here in a different image by saying, don't include telescope.
Okay.
Do you have a question?
I was, basically I had the same question, but to add, I do know there are two things that do perform that. The, generative fill feature in Photoshop, is known for being able to do similar tasks like that. But that's behind the subscription fee for paying for Photoshop, which no student does.
Right.
And, I know that the Google Pixel has a lot of things that they're making very flashy, the magic eraser or whatever, and I think there's also a generative fill as well. The magic eraser feature is basically exactly that. If this happened to be a photo you took with your Pixel smartphone, which there's a lot of steps to that are in the way. This is not a photo of something you took with a Pixel smartphone. So if you could get this into that environment, you could probably, with a Google Pixel, do that.
Exactly. And notice those are all external tools to Bing Image Creator. So,
I was gonna say, if you knew of any other ones that cost less money than buying a smartphone or paying for, Adobe.
or you could use a free tool like GIMP, the GNU image manipulation program, which I use, which runs on Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. And I use it on Windows, both at home and at work.
But that's a manual tool. to
Yes, it is a
manually
manual
cut
tool. Yeah, exactly. Good point to bring up. Another fanciful image, active galactic nuclei. So, I'm interested in astronomy, so I just type that in to see what types of images it would produce. And, these are kind of fanciful images, but they make sense if you know what an AGN is, active galactic nuclei. So for fanciful pictures, this makes sense. Like you're not expecting to see what you see. So the AI can produce things that are quote unquote realistic looking because you don't know what to expect. Okay, so let me move up a little bit. Underwater coral reef with many varieties of fish.
Yeah.
This also looks particularly realistic. And by the way, you could take these images like I sometimes do and put them into Google's image search engine just to make sure that this is not an image just taken wholesale off the web. It's actually something that the AI is actually generating. And so I do that as well. Certainly before I put it on a shirt, because these images are publicly available in my storefront. So I want to make sure that there are no, copyright issues with someone else's work.
Is that a problem where Bing will give you something that's an image it found? Like, because.
It hasn't been a problem for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ah.
But you can Google for instance, Midjourney and plagiarism, and you can get a recent article on this issue. So, yeah.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Mhm.
Very simple one for most people here, but not for me. If I wanted to use that to generate, to compare and contrast two concepts,
Mhm.
like, how would I do that?
What do you mean?
Well, for example, I want to show a repentant heart and then one that's unrepentant. Can you show us without, if you could use anything, but since you asked me what I'm interested in, how would I do that? Is that possible? Or would I just have to create two different images and just whatever you do, copy and paste them and drop them on.
So you want these concepts in the same image?
Yes,
So
what I
then
want,
you'd have to put in a prompt that described exactly what you want. And then it would spit back up to 4 images for
now,
you.
when I say compare and contrast,
Yeah,
that's what I would say. Show me an image that compares and contrasts whatever it is.
type in exactly how you would say it to me or anyone else and see what you get. Yeah. So,
I would say, a thing to add to that is, it really depends on if it knows what compare and contrast means. You know, we
Well, that's
speak
what I'm
English and we
asking. Does it know that?
yeah,
Ask it, see if it knows it.
exactly. That's what I would do.
There's only one way to tell, and it's to ask it, you know.
Yeah,
No,
which
I
we
can
won't do
answer
here.
the question.
right now.
Thank you.
Here are a large crowd of people in our gallery, so I'm not focusing in on faces. And, does anyone see anything off about these images?
All of it.
The art is also about a large gathering of people in our gallery.
Maybe they're so big.
Like, if you go back one, the painting in the back is just a painting of people in an art gallery looking at paintings.
Yeah,
Highly recursive.
yeah, that's pretty hilarious.
Don't look real
It's
at all.
pretty funny.
Also super bright.
Let's see. By the way, in this interface, you can share these through whatever media, you know, you can copy a link, and let's go to the end of the link. You can see it's like some hellaciously long link with a globally unique identifier. I think it's encoded right here in the string. So you can go ahead and share this with people. One thing that I don't know is if this image expires outside of my account, is the image still available? That's one thing I do not know. I haven't played with that because I haven't shared any of these images because they're all for me.
Are they like PNGs or JPEG?
They're JPEGs. So if I went and downloaded one, it's a JFIF, which is a type of JPEG.
Oh.
JB,
JFIF, JFIF,
JF.
JFIF, yeah. So it uses JPEG compression. And you can look up the standard and look up its Wikipedia page. And you'll notice it has this underscore and then a long name, which is a globally unique identifier that's generated random, that has nothing to do with the prompt and nothing to do with the image content as far as I can tell. So that'll just download to your default download directory. And I can click here and see it's in downloads. And I can go ahead and open up the image. And let me pull this over here. And you can see it opened it up in Microsoft Photos, if I remember that. Yeah, it's Microsoft Photos that's installed on Windows 11. As your default image here. So then you could go ahead and play with this. Like I say, you could bring it into Adobe, Photoshop, you could bring it into GIMP, whatever you want to do to manipulate the image. Yes.
Sorry, I keep speaking. I work in IT and I've worked with Microsoft for a few years. I'm only 26. They've been around longer than I have been. But knowing how they deal with data like that, I don't know if they'll expire until the late 2020s when they realize it's really expensive, and then they'll make a bunch of them from 2024 expire all at once without telling anybody.
Right, so there's two concepts. There's referable and then there's expired, right? So expired means the image disappears from all of Microsoft servers. Referenceable, when I say that, I mean on the right side of the screen in Bing Image Creator, that list of images will eventually disappear, or they'll disappear from the bottom. So they'll disappear in space. So if I keep generating more and more prompts, you'll notice the ones on the end, at the beginning, will drop off one by one. And over time, they will also disappear. And I don't know what that time period is, how long they maintain images. But if I don't do anything else with this TCF@hotmail.com account, all those prompts will eventually disappear. They'll just expire. So just delete that. What's up? You first in the back.
How much randomness is it? So like if you do the same prompt twice,
Yeah, you'll get a random set of images.
it'll just, okay, it will,
Yeah.
okay.
And I can show you that right up front. At the top, there's two things going on at the top. Let me move to here. Okay, so here when I previously gave this talk to the Brookdale Computer User Group in November, one of the things that was asked was, is there any way to get an external image into Bing Image Creator? And I said no up front, and I'm like, you know what, let me try something. So what I did is I went to Google and I opened up their logo in a separate window, and I said, what do we want to do with this? So the person who asked the question said, let's do it in the cartoon font. So what I did was I copied the URL, as you see there. And so it's a, you know, web addressable image and a cartoon font. And this is what it spit back. Not the time when I gave the lecture, that's in my other account at home. This is what I got, I guess, last night when I set this prompt up, yeah. And to answer your question, the second thing that's going on here is that I put in exactly the same prompt, and it's putting out, you know, another 4 set of images. So every time you put in those prompts, you're gonna get a different set of images. Yeah.
Wow.
My question was similar.
Mhm.
As far as prompts, just what if the prompt includes information that's under copyright? So whether it's a product that you're asking it to manipulate or refer to, or whether it's someone's likeness, a famous individual that you include in the prompt, does it allow that, or does it?
Content policy. Click on the bottom link on content policy. And also click on the link terms of use. And those questions will be answered in much more detail than I would tell you right now. But from what you're saying, I'm pretty sure that, for instance, is using celebrities violates content policy. And I can show you that actually, because here is a prompt of mine that got blocked, and that prompt is Madonna. But notice I type it with a lowercase m. So months ago, what happened is, the reason why I put this in here was because when I first started using Bing Image Creator, I typed in Madonna with a lowercase m, and it would produce these, you know, images. And there was one black and white image that was absolutely amazing. And I didn't think to save it, so eventually it disappeared. I would have loved to put it on a shirt. It had nothing to do with the singer. It was just a beautiful black and white image of this woman. And I lost it, unfortunately. Now these prompts are being blocked because Bing Image Creator must have like learned something that, oh, Madonna is probably referring to the artist, the singer, and so we're gonna block that prompt. Wow. Yeah, so, and by the way, in the interface, you could turn off all those block prompts and just see the ones where you have images that it actually spit back to you. You can turn that off or turn that on. So there, I turned it back on. There was another question somewhere over here. Okay,
What would happen if you put in somebody really famous like Larry Ward?
okay, that'll be really weird. You wanna see it?
Yeah, do it.
By the way, I started tracking down all the Larry Wards back freshman year at MIT. And I found a bunch of them in Massachusetts. And also when my mom and I were selling our house that we owned, no, we weren't selling our house. We were selling a house anyway, and buying one. In New Jersey, they have to do some type of background check to make sure that you don't have any liens on the property or other stuff.
Yeah.
So all these Larry Wards came up as like traffic tickets and basically deadbeat dads who didn't pay their alimony. So those are all the Larry Wards out there. I wasn't one of them.
Good.
Look at that.
The prompt and blog.
So I am famous, or someone like me is famous. Yeah, so that's what you'll get. And when you go back,
Whoa.
you'll notice, and I'm gonna go back to creations because it popped me out to explore ideas. Now you see that that's in your recent prompt history as a blocked prompt. So you're not gonna get Larry Ward, unfortunately.
Is there any way you know if it's you or some other Larry Ward? It's
You
blocked.
don't know. That's just it's a concept as far as Bing Image Creator is concerned. You have no idea. I have no idea, and I don't even care. What's up?
Would
block like any, like say there's not a famous Larry, no, offense.
Yeah.
Would it block just any like name so that you're not?
I don't know what it's doing. That's the first time I've actually tried that outside of Madonna. So I have no idea what it's doing underneath. You don't know. I cannot remember whether or not I've come across white papers on DALL-E, DALL-E 2, DALL-E 3. There may be some white papers out there that explain what it does, but I haven't spent enough time like deeply diving into those. So let's see what else. Oh, by the way, you noticed that the accumulated rewards points has been clicking up. It was started out as 50 and we generated at least one. Yeah, the purple cows, it jumped up by 15 just from generating these 15 images. So like if I wanted to, now I have more points available for the boost, but you know, I'm not interested in that.
Why do you get rewarded for creating images?
Why?
Yeah,
I have no idea what Microsoft's motivation is for that. I just noticed that it happens, but I don't use them, so I'm not interested.
I think the reason, it's something called gamification. A lot of tech companies are trying to add rewards points and other actions to reward just interacting in general with their products. The human brain, number go up, me must be good at this task. Make number go up, you know, and they're trying to exploit that bit of human nature to get people to use their products more, so they can say they have a set number of users for their big board meetings when they drink water and wear suits. So
Yeah, and it also may feed back into something on how the AI learns over time. So the more people who are using it, the better. No. Did I see a hand up over here first? No, okay. What's up?
Well, like in Adobe's generative AI, if you select which one is a good one, it's giving them good feedback of what's really working, what's not working, so it really builds the accuracy of it. So
That's based on an assumption though, right? That the image is actually good. What you're doing is you're selecting the image that you desire. It might not be the best, but it's what's desirable.
like from an end user mistake.
Correct.
So it's
Yeah.
sort of humanizing the feedback to it,
Mhm,
which might be similar to what they're trying to do.
mhm.
The computing resources behind this, is it local or is it in the cloud?
I'm guessing it's in the cloud. You're talking about local to the PC? No, all this runs on Microsoft servers. So, yeah, I'm guessing that they have some version of DALL-E 3 that's running on their own servers. And they're not necessarily doing this as a service that's operated by OpenAI. That's what I would guess. It's not going through OpenAI. They just get a copy of the AI itself, whatever the latest release is, and they update as appropriate.
would you be able to tell if you ran DALL-E 3 on OpenAI and versus the Bing? You know, you get the same prompts, you wouldn't be able to say.
You mean work with DALL-E directly as opposed to Bing Image Creator?
Yeah, would you be
I've
able to?
never tried that, but I'm guessing that it would give you the same info. I know that DALL-E is built into, DALL-E has some relationship with ChatGPT where you can work together with them to refine your prompts. And I can never remember whether, you know, your chocolate's in my peanut butter or vice versa. Is DALL-E in ChatGPT or vice versa? But there is a difference between using it here through Bing Image Creator as opposed to using it through, I guess, ChatGPT or DALL-E 3 directly.
I guess, is it using the same training data?
Yeah,
Using the OpenAI, both of them are using I see.
yeah. It's all based on OpenAI technology. So OpenAI built ChatGPT, DALL-E, DALL-E 2, DALL-E 3, and Sora, which I don't know if you saw within the past weeks, which is a text to video service. So let's see. I could click surprise me. A happy Black women wearing, well, that's weird. I've seen that one before and it doesn't know proper English because it should say woman. Let's see what other prompts it's gonna give me. Robot holding an umbrella in the rain.
In the rain.
Yeah, let's try that one. Now, notice this tip. Notice this tip. Yeah, it's a grizzly bear. This is one of the less than 10 prompts that will come up every time you ask it to generate something. What's interesting about this prompt is that it has stylistic information in it. It said, draw it as digital. And this one has style information in here. Draw this as an ink drawing. So we can see this, it's coming up. Hello,
Well.
I'm gonna redo this. Okay, there we go. So, yeah, and it generates this pretty fast, pretty quickly. So there's another feature here where you can save these images to an online set of collections. That's another feature that I don't use. So I always download these images because I want to preserve them if I like them to my computer, and then put them in a template for a shirt, and then upload that to my Society6 account or one of my Cafe Press accounts and put them on shirts, depending on what it is that I want. By the way, how am I doing on time?
You're doing fine.
Okay.
It's only 2:05 and you have until
2:15 to stop.
2:25.
Yeah, but 2:15 to answer any
Yeah,
questions.
yeah.
This has been
2:15.
interactive anyway,
Stop,
which is
yeah.
how I prefer my talks anyway.
Yeah.
Do you have the ability to take the ink drawing and then do something with it and color it?
Oh, of course. You can download the image like I showed you before and take it into any tool that you want, including Microsoft Paint, whatever external tool that you want.
Oh, okay.
You can even write your own tools to manipulate these images.
Well, how would AI know what colors to put on that drawing there?
It is, like I said, it's sweeping up lots of publicly available images and using your prompt to match up what it knows about the images that it's, ingested. And it goes through some algorithmic process, multi-step algorithmic process, and outputs something that it thinks matches your prompt.
Okay.
So, and it doesn't always work. So let's get to that section of the talk. So I gave you a demo, and let's see, I just want to make sure that I hit on all the points that I wanted to. Yes, I did. So here is the next, or one of the next to last points that I want to tell you about. Okay, so I'm going to close this off. So talking about image fidelity, sometimes, like I said, it gets things right, and sometimes it gets them wrong. So for fanciful images, I did double click that. Okay, there we go. Here's the image on my shirt. So like I said, this is the first image that I generated out of how many ever that I decided, oh, I like this, and so I'll put it onto a shirt. So this is very fanciful, but I'm sure that these land masses probably don't correspond exactly to what you'd see from any view of Earth in space, but I can't prove that because I didn't do this exhaustively. I just typed it in. And you'll notice on each one of these images, it leaves the Bing Image Creator logo in the bottom left. And I always leave that on my shirts because I want people to know that this was generated through Bing Image Creator and not something that I came up with directly. I don't have that much artistic skill. So anyway, so like I say, for fanciful images, here's another one. So if you guys remember the movie Blade Runner, the original one, with Harrison Ford, there was a very famous quote, it's probably the most famous quote in all of science fiction. And Roy Batty, the last replicant to the actual replicant who doesn't get killed by the police guy, he actually dies a natural death. And he's like, I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. And he says, attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. So this was a prompt where I had forgotten on fire. I just said attack ships off the shoulder of Orion, and it gave me 4 images. And this is the one that I saved all 4, but this is the one that I decided to include in my call. So this looks really good because of course it's fanciful. You don't know what to expect, right? Maybe I'll put that on a shirt one day, maybe not, who knows? Sometimes this will get things completely wrong. So here's a prompt. Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Now, what's interesting about this is that nowhere on MIT's campus will you find a building that looks like this. Right?
But
So
the
this is
town
just a
building
text.
sorta looks like it.
Sorta looks like it, okay, so
Sorta.
sorta looks like it, well, there's lobby 10,
Sorta.
right? The graduation field, lobby 10 is back here, this is the Great Dome, this is Killian Field where we graduate from. And this is the closest thing I could find, and you notice that it looks nothing like it.
Not
The
really.
only other shot that it could possibly be, and it's not, is 77 Mass Ave,
Yeah.
the
yeah.
entrance to MIT, so there's the little dome.
Right.
And there goes lobby 7. So Bing Image Creator got this completely. What's up?
So I just did an experiment on that URL thing,
Yeah,
and I don't actually think it was smart enough to go look at the picture. I think the words in the URL were descriptive enough to get something pretty close.
so let's take a look at the. prompt
I just did
did.
that. I took a picture of my car, that I know is online.
Yeah,
And I
you
gave it.
put it up on a website?
Well, it's from before I bought it, but I know there's a link of my particular car on Google Images and I know how to get to it, so.
Yeah.
I go to that image on barnfinds.com and I give it the URL from that website.
Okay,
And I asked it to make a picture and it gave me one similar to the picture I gave it because the words are descriptive.
okay,
And then I do the same thing with downloading the photo myself and uploading it somewhere else and the URL is randomized. And looks nothing, it didn't know what to do with that. Instead of giving me my old station wagon, it gave me some cows and then a hamburger. And some cheese all happily in a little Christmas tree shape. A little girl who's also a cow holding a strawberry shortcake. A little cartoon man juggling food. And somebody with a checkered hat at a picnic. So none of these are my vehicle, and they are smoking a joint, so.
Oh, excellent, yes.
None of these are my car.
Okay, so the test is, and I'm gonna learn this, this is something new then. So I just went to NPR's homepage and picked some image of a police car, and you are exactly correct, because it was a police car in a neighborhood, it was probably like some neighborhood shooting or something, who knows? And I added stylistic information on sepia tone. So if we take a look at the original image, and then I'll go back, it's this picture right here. So I'm gonna open this up in a new tab.
Natalie, that's local.
It's Levittown.
That was local?
The houses look like Levittown.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, some Pennsylvania, so it's Falls Township, wherever that is, I don't know.
Falls Township, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Bucks County.
yeah, it says Pennsylvania right there, but I don't know where Falls Township is.
County.
Oh, Bucks
Right
County,
under the bridge.
crap, I work in Bucks County.
Huh.
So anyway, it picked up the style information, but I don't know what it's doing here, like generating these images, which seem to almost have nothing to do with each other, because 2 have cityscapes, very populated, not so populated, and very populated, and these images don't connect with each other. By the way, notice this is an example where it did not return 4 images. It's only returning 3. So like I say, you'll get at least 1, maybe 2, 3, 4. It just depends on what it feels like spitting back to you. And why it does that is a mystery. No one knows, except for the people who wrote it, I guess. So let's see, what else do I want to show you here? Oh, you have a question?
Is there a way to feed an actual image in, like from a look, so like, let's say that you did the robot ink drawing and then wanted to colorize it.
Yeah,
Could you feed that back in?
not that I found, because this is text to image only.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
I had 2 quick questions. One was, you said the reverse of that, you take an image and then you Google it.
Yeah,
How do you Google the image.
I drop it into Google image search. I'll show you how to do that. You just go to Google, google.com. And then you click on this little image there, and then you just drag and drop the image.
Thank you.
So that's how I just verified that, Bing Image Creator didn't take something wholesale and spit it back to me.
Thank you. And the other question was, you've mentioned a few times in the style, different styles. Is there a list somewhere of like styles you might consider or like to help you brainstorm?
There may be, but you just come up with it, because remember, it's text to image, so it somehow, it's advertising itself as something that can interpret the English language, so whatever you describe, it should so supposedly know, oh, I'm going to apply this particular style. So it knew about sepia tones clearly, and it knows about cartoons. So so based on what we observed, it's not doing, when I typed in cartoon font, maybe it's not doing the cartoon font, it's taking the logo and generating cartoons and making a cartoon style image, but not focusing on the logo itself.
There's not like a list of like ink drawing, cartoon, like ways to think about it.
It's whatever you come up with.
It's, I actually had that same question and I did look it up. If you put that into Google or whatever, there's a lot of different websites. Basically, anybody that could go pick up an art book and make a list and put banner ads on the website where they did that and make money, did that. So there's lots and lots of websites. Some are better than others.
Did you have a question over here? Guy talking, looking at his phone. Guy looking at his phone in the front. Did you have a question?
No.
Okay, I saw your hand up before. Okay. Any other questions?
Larry, I'd love to go back to an earlier question. Has Microsoft made any public statements about the fact that the default setting in a lot of these images seems to be not diverse groups of people?
That wouldn't be Microsoft, that would be OpenAI. Because OpenAI is creating the underlying technology, and people have brought up articles, or sorry, written articles about this, recent articles that you can Google and find. So it might not be OpenAI addressing the issue, I don't know. But people have written articles on that, that it's not particularly diverse because it's sucking up images off the internet. So it's what content is out there that it's basing its image generation on.
I was about to say exactly that. It's based on what is existing out there. And for a long time, the only people that made digital photos were nerdy white people. So most of the photos
Making
are
photos
nerdy.
of other nerdy white people.
Yeah, so we've only probably had 15 years of something other than that. So give it some more time and some manual corrections to try to avoid that existing trend. It's
View,
there.
bias, whatever.
To avoid the existing bias are going to be needed because the data is biased because of who happened to make digital photos for most of the time they existed.
Okay, so back to image fidelity. Capybaras, they were part of a meme recently. That okay, I pull up meme, which is kind of funny based on this rap song. Anyway, this image is so literal and so on point. I could have just used an image off the internet. It's like, this is not really showing the capabilities of what Bing Image Creator can do. Besides saying that it can make really realistic images, but this is so realistic that you could have just gotten an image off the internet by Googling. So, here's an image that I generated, rabid dog. I have a dog and a cat. And this image you won't find anywhere. I dumped this into the Google search engine, image search engine, and I didn't come up with something that looked exactly like this. And to give equal time to the cat, smiling cats. Everybody loves cats, unless you're allergic to them. So, since you asked the question, Elizabeth, my fellow alum, I'm going to type in Google and bring up the image search. And then I'm gonna do a drag and drop if I can actually get this. Okay, there, I see it. And I'm gonna put in the rabid dog. I'm gonna drop that. And there it goes. It's not finding anything. See, these are close. I mean, but not really. I wouldn't mistake this dog for this dog. Even if they were just with their mouth closed, you can tell that these are, you know, this is Edie and this is Bob. Whatever, completely different dogs. So, you know, you scroll through a few of those and you notice that this image doesn't appear anywhere. So, you know, like you're good to go with setting that up as a, you know, doing whatever you want with it. Like, for instance, like I say with me, I'm putting it on a shirt. So, let's see, more images. Bing Image Creator is not terribly great with people. So here I have Running Man, and you can see a lot of distortions. The hand is off. The eyes are off. The mouth looks really weird. And this earpiece hanging in his ear, I'm assuming that's what that is. It looks kind of weird. And also the musculature looks a little bit off. So it doesn't do well with people, especially their faces. And even when it gets it really right, a person's face, there's often some slight detail off. Like I found with, I was generating a woman scientist, and every image I could get, the crease in one side of the mouth was there, but not on the other side, so it was asymmetric. So it was just like a little bit weird. Here, this image is different from images that I usually make, and this was just a test that I decided to do. And the prompt for this was random image in the style of Midjourney. So I was trying to figure out what Bing Image Creator knew about other text to image creators, and it generated for me 4 images, and this one I really liked, so this is the one I put in the talk, and it's the only one of the prompts that I would ever use an image from that has style information, because like I say, it was a specific test to see what it would do about what it knew about what Midjourney could produce. So, and I love all the colors. So, the last part of this talk, actually, no, one more thing. I said, read the content policy on the bottom here. So there are caveats. You shouldn't be putting in things that you know that are going to get rejected, that are unlawful, or have anything to do with someone's likeness or anything like that. You're going to get rejected. And I think, given the fact that if you put in stuff, I think at some point I saw a warning, but you could check this. And in fact, here it is, access restriction. If you keep putting in stuff that it's rejecting because of its content policy, they'll suspend your account.
Okay.
So that's one caveat, you know, don't do that. Just use the service appropriately. So the last part of the talk is me showing you some of my shirts besides the one that I have on. And I'm just typing in the Math Art Store, because if you put that, you'll get my Society 6 site, my Zazzle site, and the Math Art Store shirt that I made. And so let's take a look at the Math Art Store. The Society 6 site. So here's one that I created recently, and this one's coming to me in the mail. And this I typed in hyperspace jump because I was looking at faster than light travel or near light speed travel concepts like warp drives. So I decided to put this in, and it produced 4 lovely images, one of which I decided to put on a shirt. So that one's coming in the mail. I guess it's still being made, actually. Let's see, what else do I have in here? Oh, I decided to put in a prompt, futurist world. Should have been futuristic, but futuristic. It's all the same to Bing. Bing Image Creator. And so there were 2 images that I really liked, and I actually have both shirts. So produce these beautiful images.
Ah.
The Society 6 constantly trying to advertise to you. Okay. And I put in fractal cat, and it produced these fractal flame objects two of which I liked, and I have both shirts. So I'm just showing you a variety of images that it can be made using Bing Image Creator, and then what I do with them afterwards. And then the last one I'll show you, because I'm wearing the first one. So the last one I'll show you is massive alien invasion. People say that this looks like War of the Worlds.
It does.
Yeah, so, yeah.
See them rising over the mountain and so there's one.
So anyway, that concludes my talk. I'm not gonna bother showing you the shirts at Cafe Press unless you really, you know, but any questions, any more? All questioned out?
Yeah.